Hey guys, it's Landon with RH. I'm excited today to show you about a tool from Google. It's called NotebookLM. I believe the LM is for language model. I've got the tool open here on the web page. What I'm going to show you today in this video is how you can upload a source like a podcast episode, and then you can generate content based on that audio. And so I'm recording this video for Miriam, my in-house marketing person at Redefined Horizons, and also for Carly, who helps me with the Putting Your Business on the Map podcast. I think this is a tool that both of those young ladies will be able to use. I will let you know real quick at the top of the video that I have been a super skeptic of AI for probably the last year or so. I have tried several different tools and found that most of them were essentially worthless and generated garbage. This is the first AI tool that I've found that actually works, and I am super excited about it. I think it is going to really make a huge difference in my life. And when I'm telling you that, I was super skeptical that AI was ever going to be useful, but this tool from Google is blowing my mind. So I'm gonna do a lot more videos on this. I think if you're a person like me and you're a content creator and you're a knowledge worker, this tool has the potential to really change your life, change how productive you are. I think it's going to make me many times as productive as I already am. Hopefully you guys will see a little bit of that in this video. So I am not, I have not drank the deep learning AI Kool-Aid. I have been a skeptic, but I was really impressed with this tool, and I wanted to share it with you. As you guys can see, I've been whipping this thing hard the last week. I've only been using the tool about a week, but I've been doing a lot with it. And I'm super excited about what it's going to do for some of the podcasts. So I have uploaded one of my past podcast episodes. This is episode 11 from the Putting Your Business on the Map podcast. So let's go ahead and open that. So this is what Google calls a notebook in NotebookLM. And all I've done is add that MP3 file of my podcast as a source. That's all I've done. You can load up to 50 sources. For most of what I've been doing, I've only been loading a single source because I'm working with my own media files. But I'm going to do some other videos that show you how you can load multiple sources when you're, for example, like brainstorming for your content. But in this case, we just have one source. So when you create a new notebook, it's gonna pop up a window. It's going to ask you to upload a source. So I've done that, just the MP3 file. Now, if you're uploading an audio file or a video file, it does take a while to process that. So you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. When it's finished, you'll get this little one paragraph summary here. It auto generates this, and it will also just choose a default name based on the content. So I rename it with something that makes sense to me. Okay, so this is your chat box. So these are your sources over here on the left. This is your chat box. This is what you're going to interact with. And what you do is you use the chat box to generate notes that get saved over here to the note. Now, you can easily do some different things here, like a study guide, a timeline, a briefing doc. I'm going to show you guys some more of these tools when I show you how to use this for legal research, which is another thing that I do. But we're not going to use any of these today. What we are going to do, it also has this thing, if you upload like a PDF of an article or a book, it will create a 2-host English podcast that's actually really good. I haven't used that tool yet, but I'm going to totally geek out on that because I'm a commuter, and that'll be super helpful for me to take advantage of that commute time. Okay, what I want to do in this rest of this video is show you how you can generate basically 4 things from a podcast episode. Okay, this could also be a YouTube video. And that is a preliminary book chapter, a table of contents with timestamps for your YouTube description if you have your content on YouTube, a 2-paragraph social media promotion, and a 2-paragraph summary that I use, the summary that I put on the webpage for the podcast. So we're going to do all 4 of those things here in the next few minutes. Okay, so let's start with a book chapter. And what I'll tell you is, this works fairly well. These podcasts are somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour and 15 minutes. And I find that's about enough audio content for a 2,000 word chapter. Obviously, it's going to have a hard time creating a 2,000 word book chapter or article for a 2-minute video. But this is fairly lengthy. These episodes are fairly lengthy. And my goal here is to get some preliminary book chapters over to Carly, 1 chapter per episode. Then we're going to edit that and clean it up. We're going to get it laid out as a nice PDF book. And so I'm approaching, 40 episodes of this particular podcast. I'll be able to have, the chapters will be fairly short, but we'll have a 40 chapter book. I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be great. And this is going to, and I planned on doing that. Initially, having Carly just kind of go manually listen to the episodes and generate the book content, but this is going to make that process way more productive. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to actually start with the two paragraph summary for the webpage because that's a little easier. And what I find is, you gotta tweak your prompts a little bit and then save your prompts. So I may end up tweaking these prompts a little bit as we go because I'm still learning how to word the prompt properly in the chat to get the text content I want. But we're gonna start. I always say please. I don't know why I can't help it. So we're gonna say please provide a simple and let's say concise 2-paragraph summary of the podcast episode for the podcast for the episode webpage. And then we'll click this to send it to the chatbot. And so here it is. Here's our 2-paragraph summary. And I've been checking this content. It's fantastic. Now you'll see it generates these little numbers. And what those numbers are, those are actually links back to your source. So right here it says, others were upset that with this ruling and are seeking to have it reviewed. And then if you highlight over number 4, it'll take you back to that. So this is actually the transcript. Google Notebook created a transcript of the podcast episode. And so this is super handy, right? Because this will take you to the actual location in the podcast episode where the information's coming from. So I told you I needed to tweak the prompts. And so I'm gonna copy this prompt because I do not want the reference numbers. Let me show you why. So I can save this to the note. That just saves the chatbot content to the note, but it puts these reference numbers in brackets and they don't do you any good over here, so that sucks. So I'm going to delete that because I was going in, at first I was deleting those by hand. You don't need to do that. So we are going to rerun this prompt and we're going to say don't include any reference numbers. We'll just say any references. And so it's gonna give me that. It's gonna give me that content again, but without the references, which is what I want. So you don't have to delete them. Okay, so now we're gonna save that to the note, and it just auto names these, and I always find I come over here and change these. So this is our 2-paragraph web page summary. Okay. It's excellent summary there, and then we'll go back to Studio, and that's saved. Okay, so the next thing we want, let me save that prompt real quick. Oop. I'm going to save these prompts as I go here because I haven't been doing a good job of that. And then I'll show you what this looks like here in a minute. I'm on my other screen. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to ask it for is a 2-paragraph social media promo. So we're going to say, please provide a 2-paragraph social media promotion for this podcast episode. Make it enthusiastic and a little bit snarky. So you notice I'm doing a couple things in these prompts. I'm telling it what I want. The basic thing I want here is a promotion for the episode I can put on social media. But I'm also giving it a length. And then in this case I did this on the other prompt too. I'm giving it some information about what kind of style I want the writing in, and the chatbot will use that. So we'll go ahead and send that. And so here it is. And if you read through this, you can see that it is a little bit snarky, which is perfect. You can see I got my reference numbers again. Let's say, please do the same thing again, but without reference numbers this time. And it'll give me that again, but without reference numbers. So I'm going to save that to my note. Let me come up and save this prompt. All right, and then we're going to rename that note. So this is our two paragraph social media promotion. Now I'm not going to just regurgitate this stuff. We're going to go through and clean this up, right? Like have a human go through and read this. We'll check it in Grammarly. So I'm not just dumping this content out here, but it's really good. It's actually really good content. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, so I started with the simple stuff. Now we're going to get a table of contents with timestamps that we can use in the YouTube description, which Carly's been doing by hand. You don't have to do those by hand anymore, Carly. So excited for you. Okay, so we're going to say, please provide a table of contents for the podcast episode. I'm going to say YouTube description. YouTube video description with timestamps. Now, I already know from experience that I only want the start times because it'll give you start times and end times. Please only include the start times. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. Now I know it's going to give me more than I want, but that's okay. I'm going to show you what I do next. Okay, so there's our timestamp. And actually, it did this. It actually did a little better here. But you can see how I've got a sub-bulleted list here, and I don't need that. So I'm going to say, please do that again with only the main headings. And so it's not going to give me this sub list. It'll run that again. Okay, so here's the list without the bullets. So I'm going to go ahead and save that to my note. Now, this needs to get cleaned up, right? Because we don't need to have the sponsorship and final remarks in the table of contents. We can take that out. All right, so here it is. We are going to rename this. So this is our YouTube table of contents. Okay, so I got one more thing, which is the book chapter. So we're going to say, please provide. Now, I don't like to say book chapter. I find I get a better result if I say technical article. Please provide a simple technical article based on the podcast episode. And then I'm going to say, now this is something I've learned I need to include. Please include ample subheadings and let's see, do I want, and let's just say links. Please don't include reference numbers. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to give me links like I want, but we'll see. We'll see what it comes up with here. And the cool thing about this is you can just play with it a little bit to see what you get. Okay, so it did give me some links, but that's not very helpful, right? But now, for whatever reason, it's still giving me the reference numbers, right? So I'm going to rerun that prompt. I'm going to say, please don't include references. And we'll take out links. All right, for some reason it's still giving me the reference numbers, which is okay. I don't know why it's doing that, but we can delete them. All right, so let's go ahead and save that to our note. Now that'll need to get fleshed out, but it's a good start. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I didn't do the word count. So let's run that prompt again. We're going to say, so I'm going to give it a length. I'm going to say a 2,000 to 2,500 word simple technical article. I'm going to say, please provide ample subheadings and bulleted lists. Please don't include references. I should have given it a length. You'll see this next thing it gives is going to be a little bit longer, I think, because I gave it a length. I'm probably going to split this into 2 videos because this is going to end up being too long. Okay, so this is, you can see this is a little bit longer now because I gave it a length. So I found that is helpful to include in the prompts. So I'm going to go ahead and save that to my notes over here. And we're going to call this, now I called it a technical article, but over here I know it's my preliminary book chapter. Okay, so I'm going to do one more thing here, just because it's fun and I want to show you, but we're going to say generate a 5-question FAQ from this episode. Include, please include short paragraph answers with the FAQ. You can also include timestamps with each FAQ answer. Ooh. Okay, while that's running, let me tell you guys, you want to upload the actual MP3 or video file when you're doing this. Don't upload your transcript because I time that. And if you just upload the transcript and not the actual media file, you don't get the timestamps. So here you go. Here's a FAQ. Like, I'll read through this, but like, perfect. Boom, saved a note. So then we can put in here 5-question FAQ with answer timestamps. How powerful is that? That is super cool. We're going to put that in the YouTube video description. I think this is going to way power up my SEO on YouTube also, which I'm super excited about. I just can't geek out about this stuff enough. So the really cool thing about Google NotebookLM, and I think one of the things that makes it the most powerful tool I've tried so far, is it's limiting, to some extent, it's limiting the scope of its responses to your sources. So you're not getting garbage from all over the internet, and it's not querying a large language model that's based on the garbage all over the internet. It's really heavily weighting the information in your media content. And what that means is that the generated content is a lot better, in my opinion, because it's coming from an authoritative source, right? Which in this case is my podcast episode. Well, last thing I'll tell you is, like, you can do this with other people's podcasts and videos too. It doesn't have to be yours. Like, I'm not telling you to infringe copyright, but if you've got a podcast you really like I like Econ Talk, like, yeah, I'm going to load up my favorite Econ Talk articles and be like, generate a study guide from this, generate a fact from this, and then, I can use that to teach myself or to teach my team members. It's just so much potential here, Sorry, I bumped the mic. I'm so excited I'm bumping my microphone. I'm going to do some more with Google NotebookLM. Props to my partner, Brian Leiser, who's been the one that's been really pushing me to try some AI tools. I think he was right. This is super powerful, and we're going to leverage it. Appreciate you guys watching. Do some more videos on Google NotebookLM.